Everyone's heard the name, the Mekong Delta, but it's a place we only know from war movies or history books. We know it's famous,
but we truly don't understand why.
And that's exactly what we're here to figure out. However, we wanted to skip the usual stops and get an up-close look at the local villages, take a boat through the waterways,
and try to show you what we understand about what the real Mekong Delta has to offer.
But getting to a place like this is half the adventure. So before we hit the water, let us show you how we actually got here. Thank you. We are currently at the bus stop in Ho Chi Minh City, and we're about to hop on our bus to Ben Tre, which is a city close to where we're staying. Tickets were about 100,000 per person, and it's about a 2-hour ride. So let's go. 13:25. We're seat 20 and 21. 20 and 21. It's very hot outside. 20 and 21. Here it is. The bus filled up pretty quickly. Yep. We got some leg room. Or like extra room for the luggage. Good thing I got some snacks. Let's see what we got. We got some almonds and then some wasabi peas. So that's it. That's all we got for lunch.
It's a 2.5-hour ride with some goodies.
We're really testing our local transport today. So we just got off the bus and now we're getting on a van to a market and then we stop, I guess, in the middle of it and then we get picked up by a scooter. Okay, we got on the free shuttle. This is the final destination is the Milong Market, but we're gonna stop before that because our stay is located before that. And then we're gonna get picked up by a motorbike. Feeling I'm gonna need mosquito repellent. I don't know. Yes. Yeah.
What?
You think that will fit?
I'll take it.
We're gonna be on motorbikes, by the way. Bye. Now it's time for the motorbikes. I'm curious to see how this is gonna go with the luggage. Yeah? We have arrived at our stay for the night in the Mekong Delta. This is Coco Happy Farm, and we got the best room, so I'm excited to show you. Let me give you a tour. All right, so here's our outdoor space. We'll start with that. We got this beautiful fountain here, and I think it has koi fish. It looks to me like koi fish, I'm not sure. A hammock, a little table seating area. It is nice outside right now, but I'm sure in the daytime it gets pretty hot. And we got this lovely tree for shade and flowers. I don't know what type of tree this is, but it is very pretty. So let's go inside. This is the room that we're staying in for the next 2 nights. This room is actually very spacious. It's like a loft style room. The ceilings are really tall, which I like, and everything's kind of in one place. So we have the bed here and our living room, and then let's move on to the kitchen. And here we have the kitchen. In case you brought food to prepare, you have space to prepare it. We have coffee for the morning, a water filter, which is very important, and a fridge stocked with beer and drinks, which is very nice. And the beer is super cheap. It's 30,000 2,000 Vietnamese dong, which is like $1. A karaoke machine for if you have too much beer. Now we're gonna move on to the bathroom, which is pretty much typical bathroom that we've been seeing here in Vietnam for the last few weeks. Hopefully the water is warm. I see a water heater, so we'll see tonight. And this place also has a loft, like I mentioned before, so let's go up and take a look. Do-do-do. And here is the second floor, in case I guess there's more guests, or if I'm mad at Jose. The AC does work. It's been hot these past few days, so I'm very glad that the AC works here. It's nice and cool. All right, back down. We just got 2 coconuts from our host. That was so nice and so cute. Jose doesn't drink coconut juice, so I'm gonna have to drink both of these. This is straight off of the tree. That's good.
After all that travel, we just relaxed for the rest of the evening and grabbed a wonderful dinner. We definitely needed that recharge because the very next day, we were finally heading out to explore the real Mekong Delta.
Good morning. We are headed to our breakfast at our homestay, and then it's off to explore the Mekong Delta for the day.
But I have bad news for me. I woke up not feeling so well. I don't know why, but I'm losing my voice too. It was a rough night.
Never seen this fruit before in my life, but I'm gonna try it. I'll try it for the both of us. Not bad, actually. Look, it has like a seed. First activity of the day is biking. So we're actually gonna bike around the village, and T, our guide, is gonna show us the local life. He's getting another bike for Jose. Change of plans. We're doing a scooter, so it's easier for Jose because he's not feeling good. You got that?
I got it.
We have our first stop of the day. Oh, baby ones. Oh my gosh. I know, they're so cute. Does this remind you of your farm?
Yeah.
I'll just introduce you to the camera. This is our host, T. He owns the homestay, right?
Yeah,
You own
yeah.
the homestay? And he does all of the tours around, so we get a very in-depth look of the area and the village, which is what we're doing right now. Whose farm is this?
This one is my cousins and my aunt and my uncle. We continue going to see all the plantation belong to my relative. Actually, people around here, they are my relative.
As we talked for a while about the area and his family, we didn't even have to mention the topic, but the word war naturally came into the conversation.
My grandparents, they need to go to the mountain in between Vietnam and Cambodia. We call Châu Đốc. Châu Đốc City is nowadays the tourist attraction place. And after the war finished, they come back.
Okay, so they left this area during the war.
Yeah. As I hear, we are here in the.
We know the Mekong Delta from the war.
Yeah.
But we don't really know much about it.
Not just my grandparents, there are many of us. We moved to somewhere else, and
Yeah.
after the war, we come back.
Okay. Here we go, off to the coconut plantation. It's a bumpy ride, but you can see all of the canals in here. It's a network of canals, so I'm assuming they used all of them for farming and agriculture. I'm glad we took the scooter because this is a pretty far drive, and it would have been even farther on a bike.
Buddha statue under the ground. They remain from the Vietnam Empire, from our command.
Before we even made it to the market, we took a quick detour to check out a local Buddhist temple. Our guide T broke down some of the history for us, and it was super interesting. He explained how Vietnam has been through so many wars and colonizations over the centuries, and how all those different areas actually shaped the strong Buddhist influence you see all over the country today. It was a really great little history lesson before jumping into the rest of the day. After riding through the coconut plantation and getting that quick history religious lesson, we headed into the local town market.
So this is the local market. You can pretty much find anything in here. Squid, 70K per kilogram. I think that's pretty good if you like squid. Oh my gosh. Some fish, fruit. Oh my gosh, little baby chicks. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. Xin chào. Xin chào. My brain stopped working there for a bit.
But what we were not expecting, especially on our usual $100 a day budget, was that we were about to run into one of the most sought after and expensive foods in the world.
Oh my gosh.
Look,
What is that?
Tiger prawn.
That's a shrimp?
tiger shrimp,
Oh my
Tiger
gosh.
prawn. Tiger prawn.
tiger prawn.
Wow.
So it turns out that those little canals Fallon was talking about earlier in the coconut plantation are not just for water. They are actually used to farm tiger prawns. Our guy T actually grows and sells them for his own business, and he gave us the full breakdown. It is the whole ecosystem where the river, the changing tides, and the coconut trees all work perfectly together. This area is a massive exporter of them, and it's crazy to think they can grow to this huge in just a single year. The reason you see them hanging out in these specific pools here is that they use them to clean the prawns before they're ready to be eaten.
The water become muddy, and they not stay in the water anymore. They jump on the land, and we just cut up.
So we just learned that they catch these shrimp because they push like a banana tree in the water to make it muddy. Then all the shrimp jump out and then they catch all the shrimp on the bay. I mean, they're pretty fast.
After walking around the town market and learning a lot about the tiger prawns, we headed out to experience one of the Mekong Delta's biggest commercial engines. The coconuts they are processing here aren't the green ones you drink at the beach.
The water here not for drink. We have many variety of coconuts.
These are older, mature coconuts that they use specifically for making coconut oil, cosmetics, and food products.
So she fills up the basket and then they take it away.
We harvest them after 1 year when they
And
ready.
there's a little bit of water left.
Yeah.
But it's not as good as the other one because it's been drained with the nutrients
Yeah.
for the meat.
All nutrients they stay in the meat already. So
Yeah.
Walking in, it's honestly wild to see. It's basically a giant assembly line, but it's completely powered by people. Everyone has their specific job and they're super fast. You have people unloading the trucks, others are chopping the coconuts in half, someone else is popping off the hard shells, and then another person peeling the skin off the meat. Then, it all gets sorted out into different bins to be shipped out. The coolest part to me was that they literally use everything.
we can make handicraft, or we can screw to make button for shirt.
Okay.
Yeah, we export to European market. We export a lot of button from coconut to France.
There is zero waste. That thin brown skin they peel off, that's actually the best part for extracting coconut oil. The white meat goes into animal feed or gets blended into coconut milk, and those rock hard outer shells, they turn those into charcoal.
So how many coconuts do they go through a day here? Or
1 day we can have about 20 truck drivers.
20 truckloads?
Yeah,
Wow. And how many hours do they work a day?
it depends on them mostly.
The vibe working here is pretty unique too. They get paid based on how much they actually produce, not by the hour, so people can totally set their own pace and work as much as they want. We even saw families working together, with kids helping out and learning the ropes from their dads.
Coconut is long-term investment.
And it falls by itself or you have to cut it?
Usually we cut them, we never let them fall.
Coconuts are basically the lifeblood of this entire area. A lot of workers actually own their own coconut trees at home, sell their crops to the exact plant, and then come in to work the production line. Literally everyone around here is connected to the coconut business somehow. It's just crazy to think that we are standing right in the middle of one of the biggest coconut hubs in the entire world.
So we just stopped to rest here at T's Sister's Cafe for lunch. The coconut farm was very interesting. I did not know how many things can be made from coconut, but the sheer amount of coconuts they do a day is pretty crazy. So I felt like it was appropriate to order a coconut smoothie. It's good. Okay, after a much needed nap and a little caffeine, we are now going to explore the waterways and rivers of the Mekong Delta. So that means going on a boat. Roosters. So are these boats specifically for touring around, or do they like fish on them?
My childhood, we never walk on the land. When we want to see neighbor, want to see uncle and cousin nearby, we always go on the boat. Because that time we don't have concrete path.
Yeah.
And waterway go everywhere. So when the rain comes, the land become muddy. We don't want to walk on the muddy surface.
All right, you first. Showed you how to do it. We are on the boat. Success without falling in.
Once on the canoe, we started making our way downstream. T was telling us all about how crucial these waterways are for the people who lives here. The river is basically their main highway. It's how they transport goods and get around, but it's also everything else. It provides their fish a place to swim and the water needed to irrigate all those tiger prawn pools and the coconut trees we just saw.
So what's the primary source of food you get from these canals? Prawn?
Prawn and fish, most popular on with catfish. So inside that we have many types, tilapia, some small like this, but some big like this. We call them elephant ear fish.
Elephant ear fish.
Yeah.
Good.
Honestly, this boat ride was incredibly peaceful. There were no motors, just the sound of the water, a nice breeze, and some really great conversation. It was one of those simple, quiet moments that just completely made our day.
You're a pro.
No, no.
That was our wonderful driver, captain. So now it's time to go back to our homestay for the night, and we're gonna have dinner there. Be a nice relaxing evening because we are tired. All right, vámonos. These roads are a bit hard on my back. My back. Ouch. My back is sensitive. And the suspension is not the greatest for this. So we chose to eat dinner again here. We had the option of going out into town on the motorbike, which is complimentary, but we decided we're a little bit tired, so we're gonna stay here. And I think we're going to try the prawns. So this booklet has the menu for the restaurant. Tiger prawns. We're gonna try that tonight. These are our tiger prawns for the night. Oh my goodness.
Look at the size of this shrimp.
They're huge. Look at those. So it's not that bad once you clear all the shell, like you said.
It's really good. So to answer our question, what is the real Mekong Delta? Well, after sitting down with T, navigating these canals, and seeing this massive zero-waste coconut and prawn ecosystem up close, we finally get it. It is so much more than just a name in history books. It is this incredibly resourceful, hardworking community where the people, the river, and the land are all completely tied together. And days like today are exactly why we decided to travel full-time, to go out there, explore, and create our own version of the world, not just what we see in movies and history books.